Well, tonight our program is presented by Stacey Lovett. She's from New Braunfels and is doing a presentation on product photography. So I am really excited to hear that. And I am going to reshare her contact information in the chat window. So if you'll look at that, you'll have her name, phone number, email address, and website. So that'll be easy for you to contact her if you have any questions, but we'll also have a Q&A after she finishes. So in May, Gay is going to do a presentation on Adobe Animate using the hands-on tutorial creation tool. Joe will do a presentation on how you can tell that a photo has been photoshopped. And then I'm going to do the Photoshop brushes presentation that I had scheduled for tonight. And then in June, we're going to look at several of the Adobe mobile apps. We're not going to just give you a 3 or 4 sentence overview of it. We're actually going to show you how they work and what you can do with them and all the features that they have available for you. So I'm going to do one on Photoshop Express and Adobe Scan, and Gay is going to do Photoshop Fix and Adobe Photoshop Mix. Those are 2 different ones. And then Joe is going to do an overview of Adobe Capture, and then we'll have our Creative Cloud giveaway, the first one of the year. And then in July, Joe is going to go in depth through Adobe Capture, and there's a lot of stuff that can be done in it. I have not used it, so he's going to show us a lot of different things we can do. And then I'm going to do one on Photoshop masks. There are just so many things that can be done in Photoshop that we kind of touch on from time to time, but don't really go into all the features of those tools. And then in August through December, I'll be looking at having more topics scheduled. So if there's anything that you want to see or think that you want to present, just let me know and I'll be more than happy to get those on the schedule. So in October of this year, Adobe Max is coming back all free, all online again. And if you attended last year, you know how much was available and how many great presentations there were. So if you go to that link that I'm giving you that will be on the agenda that's posted on the website, you'll be able to see, or at least get emails at this point, and then you'll be able to see what all is available. But it's excellent. And if you've ever checked into the Max in person, you know how expensive it is. So this is really a great deal. Updates to our website. I've updated, added the April newsletter, updated the calendar, the monthly meeting agenda, and of course the rules for tickets you'll want to review so you'll know how you can win the Creative Cloud subscription. I'll pull up the website right quick and show you just a couple of the updates that I've done. So, that's not it. Okay, can y'all see this screen? This is Stacey's website. Can y'all see that? Did I share it?
Yes, we can see it, Kay.
Okay,
looks good.
Thank you. Okay, that's Stacey's website. So you'll want to check her out and see what all she can help you with and do for you. Then on our website, the meeting page is updated with the March links, and then I'll be adding April after tonight's meeting. So you can always go to the meeting agenda. This is the one for March, and any of the links that are shared with you, you can get them here, and they're all activated. So all you have to do is just click on them. So anytime I give you links in the
So no. Oh, I love it. My post-it came.
oh, that's on, I'm doing that, aren't I? That must be a, I'm sorry.
I was looking for someone to mute, but everybody was muted.
I know, that was the video. Must have been a YouTube ad that was on there. So anyway, sorry about that. And then also our presentations. I'm going to show you our YouTube. Can you see our YouTube channel? Hopefully. These are all the videos where we publish them. So you can go in and listen to each of the presentations. They're all separated from the entire meeting. So if you want to review what was presented, you have that option there. And any notes that the presenters share, any PDF PowerPoints are on there. And also the newsletters are up to date, so you can always go in and re-look at a newsletter if you want to. And I'm a little behind on here, but I am summarizing all the links that I share on the agendas with you on that page. So I'll go back to the PowerPoint. And the reason that we mute everyone during presentations is so there's no interruptions in them. But then after each presentation, you'll have a Q&A time where you can ask questions. So Stacey will be right after I finish here in a couple of minutes and present her program. And then Gabe will come on with her program on glyphs. And then we'll have, if you have any general questions about the web spinners, you'll have an opportunity to ask there. And then if I'll have Glenn, Joe, Paul, and then Glenn will share the subgroups, including Anna's, and then we'll be ready to adjourn. And these are some links that I've shared this time, so you might want to check those out. There's some really good resources there. Okie doke. Any questions before I leave this agenda? You can unmute yourself if you have any questions. All righty. Well, I will stop sharing and turn it over to Stacey.
Hi, thanks again for having me. I'm really excited to share a little bit about what I do. I have a little bit of a PowerPoint presentation. I'll do a share screen and kind of speak over it. And if you have any questions at the end, I'll be glad to answer them. Okay, can everybody see it just fine?
Stacey, it looks good.
Okay, perfect. I'm just gonna move my window real quick. Okay, so I entitled this Finding Your Light. It's something we kind of say in the studio with working with a model to kind of find their placement on set. So this is going to be a little bit of a overview of what I do, how I look at my process, and sharing a little bit of like DIY in this day and age. You know, we're still starting to come together a little bit, but options to do for your own businesses. So just a little bit about myself. I focus on a lot of branding and promotional photography. I like working with small businesses and in the music scene quite a bit with local artists, just kind of helping them build their brand, build an image. We're such a visual culture, you know, with social media and everything online. We make sudden decisions about brands and people just based on the photo. So it's very important in today's culture. So I love giving people that vision and a voice through that. I dove into my passion about a little over 5 years ago after my daughter was born. Left the corporate world and haven't looked back, and I absolutely love what I do. I've grown it into helping a lot of local businesses, and you know, I'm proud to say that I'm an internationally published artist. I do branding for the city of shirts. My work can be seen in places like Frost Bank, Vogue Italia. I'm one of South by Southwest photographers, so I'm very, very grateful to do what I do and be able to just, you know, share everybody's the essence of their brand with the world. So if you're kind of looking at DIY product photography, it doesn't have to be complicated or intricate or expensive. It's very easy to craft it at home. You know, great results can be achieved at home with items you have on hand, and even with the technology today, capturing it with a smartphone. And so I kind of did a little thing at the end where I kind of showed what can be done. So when I go onto or into like a client's business, I do a little pre-assessment. So I take into account the aesthetic and the atmosphere of the brand and the space to gauge what I can translate in that shoot. I believe in adding a lot of the atmosphere of a place to kind of tell that whole narrative of you know, what you've built. And then as far as the intention, I like to build a set plan with the photos. So I like to look at a full scope of what they need on a 30, 60, 90-day basis, kind of get that whole quarterly. It maximizes the time and effort in the visual marketing and really maximizes what people invest in their visual brand. So today in the world of social media, if you post once or twice a day, that's quite a bit of imagery. And then you look at websites and ads and marketing, you want the full scope and the full brand of who you are. So with that focus, I identify the immediate focus of the brand or the space or the person or the artist, and then what that means to the consumer, how you look to the consumer, and build it around that. So if you walk into a storefront, it's kind of like where your eye leads. That's what that focus is going to kind of be. You know, if you go in and do a photo shoot. So there's a couple different ways to go about product photography. One is the solid white background. These are best for website stores or graphic design, things that need quick decision making and comparison between the products. So you kind of have a cohesive scope of everything. There's a lot of psychology that kind of goes into product photography as well, kind of how you view something and you know where your thought process is going to go. So to get this aesthetic on your own, it's best achieved with a pop-up studio. And these range in price from about $15 to $300 and up. For the real high end, I personally use a mid-range one. They provide a uniform light and look, and they're compact and easily stored. And they most of them come in with a built-in light source as well. So it's kind of your one-stop shop, all in one. You know, can get you a good cohesive look for your website or graphic design. My personal recommendation, I use the Amazon Basics portable folding studio. It folds real flat down, can be stored, you know, in between a bookshelf. and it retails for about $150. It's extremely easy to use. It has a built-in light source. You can use it. I use it with a digital camera. You can use iPhone. It does really great imagery. And so that's what I use if I have the need for the white background. So another route that I go is atmosphere. So if you're going into like advertising, marketing shots, social media shots, this is one that I did for a CBD store out of Austin. This aesthetic best captures the essence of your product and storefront. So it's going to be what you look at and what you're going to feel as soon as you walk through that door. There's endless opportunity for artistic license. I kind of took what they had in store and, they wanted that spa-like feeling. So we did shots with it, with, what they had in the background as far as, like in the bottom corner, they had like a little floral arrangement. So we put it in front of that and did shots to kind of evoke that feeling and emotion about the storefront itself. So that connects your consumer to your store. And if you have these on your website, they're going to get that same feeling looking at it on your website as they do when they walk into the door. So it's inviting to consumers into the physical space and translates it to an online presence. Flat lays are another option for products. These, for instance, I did in that pop-up studio. You can do it, pretty much anywhere. That's the beauty of flat lays. You can use natural lighting, studio lighting, and I'll kind of give a couple examples later on in the PowerPoint presentation. But these are great for advertising and social media, and Pinterest boards too, if you go that route for marketing. They create a mood, like you get to create the mood. So you're in full control of your color scheme, your decor, and then the real purpose of this aesthetic is to highlight multiple angles of your packaging and create instant visual recognition. So this works with a lot of cosmetic companies use it, perfume. It evokes that light and airy feeling, and then gets people familiar with your packaging. So like this, for instance, these were dried flowers that I had just laying around in some potpourri, and then just kind of put it together. So it's really easy to kind of get that aesthetic with what you have on hand. So if you're kind of doing like your own DIY product photography, this is where your creativity is going to really come into play. So some of the helpful materials that I like using whenever I do product photography, a lot of them you can get your local hobby store or art store. So different papers, like different colored papers like Canson paper, cardstock, or the scrapbook paper that you can get at Hobby Lobby, foam board. I like to use a lot of like glass bottles or reflective materials to kind of add some detail or shadows. Museum putty is another favorite of mine when you're setting up things so they don't shift. I've even used Play-Doh. The Container Store has a lot of great clear containers and risers. So if you have multiple levels, you can use these to add like height and depth and things. And then just whatever accent pieces that kind of go with your product. So floral, food, if you have say like a coffee scented candle, you can put coffee beans by it. Fabric, crinkled paper. The opportunities are endless in what you can add in. So these are a couple examples. On the left, these are just some random things that I got at Hobby Lobby. And then the big piece of paper is Canson paper. It comes in quite a few different colors. You can use it as a flat lay backdrop. You can have it as a curvature and do product shots in front of that. Cardstock, just kind of anything that kind of really goes with, I pulled the same colors from the product here to kind of to pull that aesthetic together. On the right are the acrylic boxes that I prefer to use. I get those at the Container Store. They'll range from $1 up to, you know, $25 for some of the bigger ones, but right in the $5 to $10 range. And the clear museum gel I like to use as well to hold everything into place. So when I do product photography, I like to think of it as a product portrait. I treat it the same way as if I had somebody in my studio doing headshots. So I compose the product with taking into consideration the lighting, the placement, and then the setting to accent and capture the true essence. And I think that's the key, is capturing the true essence of that product, like what it is, and what the feeling that it evokes. So you want to catch their good side, you highlight the best features of what you're shooting. So with lighting basics, it's great to avoid direct or harsh lighting. And when you're shooting, understanding like the basic exposure, if you're using digital or cell phones. I like dramatic lighting with my aesthetic. So I usually light the subject from one side. If you want it really bright and detailed, you could hit it with like a fill light from the other side. If you're doing overhead shots, you'll want to have full light from the side. So you want to be over the subject and over the light to avoid your own shadows. But sometimes shadows and reflections can be, you know, your best friend. So I like to kind of use those for added creativity to personalize the image, as you can see on the right-hand side. And same with reflectors too. It just kind of brings a little bit of more emotion into the shot. So post-processing, I actually go between Lightroom and Photoshop. I do kind of the overall batch in Lightroom and then hit it with a little bit of dodging or burning or whatever I feel kind of fits that image in Photoshop. It's just kind of how I learned and my workflow goes. But with the editing, it adds creativity, but it maintains, like, you want to maintain the visual authenticity. So you want to add a little bit of signature style, but you don't want your product to look any different than it would in real life in front of you. You want to maintain that brand recognition and accurately translate to your consumer what you're wanting to sell. And that goes with the food, like food photography as well. Some people bring in studio lights to a restaurant. I like to actually use that restaurant lighting because it gives that same ambiance that you're gonna have sitting there in front of that dish. So with formatting basics, I prefer shooting in a high resolution because I've had clients use something for social, but then, you know, a couple months later need it at a higher resolution for like a website shot. I shoot in RAW versus JPEG to capture the most information and allow for greater digital manipulation and enlarging. And then the megapixels, just take that into consideration, kind of be mindful about the megapixels if you're shooting with a smartphone versus a digital camera, and what you're gonna require that image to be used for. Because if you enlarge it or zoom it in, you'll want to be very mindful of how and where that's shot. So I'm a big fan of templates. I think they added impact to your visual marketing and your social media as well. It's starting to become more and more popular, and it sets your product photography apart, and it kind of brings it to the next level. So Canva is a great free resource. I actually created this presentation in Canva. It's available at your fingertips from your phone or desktop. And you can make Instagram stories. They have all kinds of templates, website. I mean, pretty much anything that you can put online, you can create in Canva. And then another favorite site I have is Creative Market, which is kind of like an Etsy for digital artists. They have independent stores, but I've purchased quite a few templates that I can use in Photoshop or InDesign. And they're great, they're unique, and you're supporting independent artists as well with those. So this is kind of just a little mock-up of something that I did. I call it kind of like my 5-minute example. And I did it with an iPhone on purpose because I wanted to kind of show that you can get good quality or like social media images with just a simple setup and an iPhone 10. So the bottle of water that I have on the picture on the left, that's what I used for the reflection. So I did just a simple setup of the grapefruit juice and then a flower that I bought at Hobby Lobby with the Canson paper that has just a gradual curve, and just really use that reflection to make it pop and kind of add that added emotion and just that added pop to the photo. And then same here, just kind of like a little bit of a idea of some things that you can think of and look for that kind of give like a little bit of something different to a flat lay. And again, this is just with a cell phone, just to kind of show what you can do real quick. And then most of all, have fun. That's the fun of it, is finding the creativity, finding those unique angles, and just, how you can show your product or somebody else's product in a new light. And I think that's what I have fun with it the most, is kind of like that creative challenge. So I'm open to any questions that y'all may have, and I thank you again for having me out.
Hi, Michael here. Can you explain a little bit about the one a couple of slides back where you had the bottle and the lighting and the very limited depth of field for the bottle using a cell phone?
Sure, let me. Let's see.
Yes, that one.
Okay. Oh. Sorry. Okay. So what I did is I kept the grapefruit juice and the flower where it was. I moved that the bottle of water in front of it, and so it would hit with a little bit more light. So I had it a little bit more in front of the bottle of grapefruit juice, and then just came in with a cell phone between the two, and then got that shot. So I wanted to use like a really narrow depth of field to kind of play with that light more than anything. And for instance, like a shot like this, I would use for like a social media story, and you with a template, and you can kind of like lay text on that, or even as a standalone. But did you have a specific question on this?
It seemed like there was some sort of diffusion filter or flare filter that made it look glowing, and the Since the cell phone has only one aperture, I wondered how you achieve the control of the depth of field, because you can't really control the aperture on the cell phone, right?
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I just got that right beam of sunlight, and then I did a quick cell phone edit just with, you know, bumping up the highlights. That's one thing I do like to do, kind of in my signature look, is kind of bump up the highlights and then the low lights to really kind of give it a little bit more depth.
Okay, so you used sunlight somehow for the direct lighting?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Good idea, because the simplicity and yet the shot is very beautiful.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I'm going to ask all the questions, I guess. Where did you get your training or your lighting? I mean, your learning?
I just kind of a lot of trial and error, quite a bit of trial and error. And then the beauty of YouTube and that accessibility of online education. I mean, just kind of, you know, oh, how do I do this? And being curious about something and then looking it up and then kind of putting my own spin on it. But definitely a lot of trial and error and finding my own style and signature. And I think that was kind of part of the fun of it too.
So you only started like 5 years ago emphasizing the photography?
Right, correct.
So that's good that you taught yourself and basically didn't have to go to schools or anything.
Yeah. So.
Well, this was a great presentation, Stacey. I really learned a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you mind if we shared your presentation on our YouTube channel?
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Look, Gay will prepare that. And what about your slides? Would you mind?
Sure,
sharing?
I can.
Well, she'll make sure you get credit for it on
Okay.
there. She'll make sure that it's all front and center for you.
Perfect. I
I'll
appreciate
give
it.
you a little more exposure.
Thank you.
Yeah, because that's what it's all about. Yeah, getting your name out there. That was great. Well, you've got a lot of experience in using the Adobe apps too, which is very good.
Yeah.
That's what we're all about here. So if you want to stay around for the next presentation that Gay's doing, it's has to do some Adobe tools that you can use. And then if you want to be on our email list, just let me know. And if you
Okay.
want to continue attending, I'll add you and you'll have get our newsletter and then we're on Facebook as well. I'll email all that to you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, great.
Thank you again.
I have you present some more presentations. Good. Anything else for Stacey? Okay, Gay.
It's nice to, I'm sorry, you're saying, but it's nice to see what you can do with a cell phone. So many people think they have to have expensive equipment, and so the simplicity, it was impressive.
All righty, Gay.
All right, you ready for me to share my screen?
For you.
Okay, let's see what we can do here. Now, let me see, I've got this clicked. Seems like there's always a problem. Share a screen. Did you put it over to me?
Yes, you're sharing your screen right now.
Okay, all right. Let's see. What I'm looking for is that little thing that says use the, so I'm going to show a video, so I need to.
Oh, go ahead and reshare your screen. It's at the bottom of that white pop-up. Here, I'll stop it. So reshare.
Okay.
And then once you select the screen you're wanting to share at the bottom, You went past it, going too fast for us.
Uh-oh, right.
Okay,
Hold
so
on.
that green share screen button, just click it once.
Once. Then
Well, you're just popping through our box somehow. I don't know
well,
how.
I don't know. It says remote control and it says, I don't know if you can see it, but it doesn't have a deal that I, make sure that I share sound. I got it. Share sound. Okay. And hopefully it's going to share the right screen. Are y'all seeing welcome to the wonderful world of glyphs?
That's what we see.
All right. Okay. And I don't know what's going on, but right before our meeting, Windows decided to upgrade my Windows. I didn't tell it to or anything. It just did it. So I had a hard time getting on. But I pre-recorded the briefing on glyphs, and I've done it. I'm showing you how to do it in Photoshop and Illustrator. Now, on the document that's going to be on the website, WebSpinner's website, I've included how to use glyphs in InDesign and Microsoft Word. And one thing I mentioned in the briefing is, and I don't know if I said enough, but if you have a Creative Cloud account or some of the plan, like the photography plan, you get all the fonts for free. And so that's kind of important because trying to find the right fonts to use in your document, especially if you're going to use it for commercial use. If it's for personal use, it's probably no problem because most of the fonts you find online are for personal use for sure. Anyway, I'm going to start my little deal here. Hello there. Welcome to the wonderful world of glyphs. What is a glyph? Well, a glyph is an individual character. It might be a letter, an accented letter, a ligature, a punctuation mark, a dingbat, etc. A font, also called typefaces, is a digital file which is used to display a typeface, which contains the entire upper and lowercase alphabet, as well as punctuation, numbers, and other special characters. I just wanted to show you a sample of dingbats. These have been around forever, and probably your first introduction to these characters. We have come a long way since the use of these dingbat characters. We've got two different formats that we're working with. The open type font format was designed by Microsoft and Adobe. It's best to use an open type font since these are more likely to contain multiple glyphs. Also, OpenType is a format for scalable computer fonts. You can use both of these types. We've got an OpenType font which has an extension of .otf and a TrueType font which has an extension of .ttf. The hardest part in using glyphs is finding the right combination of glyphs with the use of the glyph you might want to use. There are several sites where you can get free fonts that contain glyphs. And a good way to find them is just search for free fonts with glyphs. I found several sites which I am going to put on the document which I put on the San Antonio WebSpinner's website. And these are some of the ones that I've come across. Now, free fonts may be fine, but I found a feeling you will get more glyphs if you pay for them. Also, one thing about using glyphs is that it is very time-consuming, searching for the right one that you want to use. You've got to also be careful how you use them. Some free fonts are not to be used for commercial means. So you need to make sure it says it's free for personal and commercial use. Well, how about Adobe? Adobe fonts are included with a Creative Cloud plan, and there are no limits. And best of all, they are cleared for personal and commercial use. Using Adobe, you don't have to download. You just click what you want it, and it'll be available on all your Adobe products. Now, how would you install fonts? I know some of you may have never done it before, so I'm going to show you one way I do it. I just go to my window and I click it and I type in fonts. And up pops this little setting here, font settings. And if you want to use it, this is what I do. And there's many ways to do this, okay? This is just one that I use. Now this is a countryside font. I received it as a zip file, and I unzipped it. And this is the unzipped file. I'm working with two monitors so you can see the difficulty here. So all you do is select the TTF file, and there's another TTF file. This is not an open type font, but just select them and drag it to the drag and drop install box. And it would have installed it, but I've already installed it. So the Countryside 2 font is already installed. Do you want to replace it? And I just say no. No. Okay, and that's all you do there. Well, I'm going to show you how to use glyphs in Photoshop. First thing you do is, and I've already opened up Photoshop, you go to Edit, Preferences, and Type. And make sure that Enable Type Layer Glyph Alternates are selected, and click OK. And let's open a new document file, or just a new document. Let's take an 8.5 by 11. Take everything here is okay. 8.5 by 11, 300 resolution, color, white background, it'll all work. Create. Okay. Now I have found something called Adobe Caslon Pro, which is really good, I think. So I go over here, I've already put it up here. You go over here to Type, come over here and make a block. Okay, just hit delete to get rid of that. And let's go ahead and say San Antonio. Oops. A-N-T-O-N-I-O. Web spinners. We know them. Now, I'm going to go up to Window, and I'm going to come down to Glyphs and click on it. And up pops your Glyph panel. You'll notice here in the blocks up above, they are the 10 last glyphs we used. And right here is the name of the font, and that is italic. And we're looking at the entire font. Now, if we come down here and use the zoom slider, it'll come in closer. But I'm going to take it down this way. This cloud looking thing here, bring it up. This A plus or A something, we'll bring it down. The A plus will take it up. And you can put it as big as the box itself. Okay. Now, if you want to get rid of all of these that we've already used, come up here to this little menu in the upper right-hand corner, click on it, and come down to Clear Recent Glyphs, and they'll all be cleared. Okay, let's come over here to what we could do. Right now we're looking at the entire font, and we could do just alternates for selection. So if I select this S here, it'll bring up the alternates. So I can make some changes right here. Now, if I want to take it from this block, I just click it once. Let's look at the A. The alternates for the A are this way. Let's look at a W. Let's just stay with that one. Let's look at the alternates for the S. Let's go with the same S right here. Okay, so far so good. Now let's go up here. Instead of alternates for selection, let's get the entire font. So I'm going to show you some things. A lot of the fonts, they start out alphabetically, and they may be big and then little, and then a lot of different things in here, okay? And if you double click over here, you'll get what's there. Look at that. And that, and that, and that. All right, let's just skip another line. Got a question mark? Want to put something in brackets? Just go up here. Whoa, 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 I just passed it up. Click this one. Then double click that one. Of course, these are some different types of parentheses. Another type, or a little more designs. All your numbers. And usually the designs are at the very bottom. They have some ligatures here too, if you've noticed. Two letters together. Okay, let's see what we've got here. These are kind of nice. That would be a good design on something. Anyway, this has lots of them. They don't all have a bunch of these. You've got to look for them. See, they've got some neat designs here. Okay, let's go ahead and do away with some of these. Okay, on the last project, we were using something called Adobe Calcin Pro. Let's change to a different font. Let's try something called G-A-U-T-R-E-A-U-X Light. Okay. Now there we go. Let's bring up our Glyphs panel. Window, Glyphs. Okay, and what we have the same thing over here, so we're good to go. Let's find out if we have any alternates for selection. Select the L, no. Select that, no. This is your usual lorem ipsum. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a G-A-Y and Carnes, my name. And let's see what we have over here. Entire font. And let's see what we have in the G's. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's only have one thing. How about the C? Any extra in that? Okay. Let's see what else we have in the pretty stuff. Just don't have anything pretty for my name. How about Carnes? No, that won't work. Okay, gotta go a little further just to see. Normally in all your fonts, you'll find some of the fancier glyphs at the end, and they don't have too many in that particular one. But it's got some stuff that's kind of neat. Of course, it shouldn't be right up above, right on top of the other one. Well, we've got a few hearts. Of course, I'm just double clicking them. How about a little check mark? All right. Let's try a different font. Let's go to, let's try Fairwater Open Surf. I don't know how you pronounce that. Nope. Nope. That's all you have. You know, that's what you have to do. You just got to find out, okay, what does it have? This one has quite a bit of stuff. You can go to punctuation, brackets, and if you go to extended Latin A, got quite a bit of stuff. Dashes and quotes. Seems like that's what's so time consuming about this stuff, is that it does take a lot of time to find what you want. Okay, now I've also found that there are a few things that you can find that the only thing they have is fancy stuff. And one of these is NYMPHETTE. As you can see, it comes up with what it has. The only thing you can do is to go over here and select what you want. Go over here and pick it up. Just bring it out like that. Okay. Come over and get your tea again. And make some more. Bring it down. Bring it in. Okay. I'm going to just do a Control A, if I can do it. Come over and get your T, Control A, delete that stuff. Bring this up here and find some more stuff. This whole font name, that Nymphet, and you can use this on your commercial stuff or your personal stuff. It's got a cute little heart in it. Anyway, all these designs you can use. Okay, now let's go up here. There's another one that I was using, another It's another one called Florella, Floralia, Florella Regular. And this has got some really neat stuff on it too. Gonna hit a delete key to get rid of some of them. Okay, let's make sure we still got it. We do still have it, Florella. Okay. And just like that. Now, this is Florella. It's got a lot of flowers in it. A lot of designs that you can use on anything, any of your documents you might want to produce. You might want to have an invitation or something like that and make it really pretty. I'm going to and I'm going to delete that. That's what I want to do. I just want to have one thing. Just go up and get my move tool and take this anywhere you want to on the page. So I've found out that what you have to do if you want to move any of this stuff, you put it in a block of some sort. Okay, and then you can resize it. But that's how you move it around the page. Okay, and that's about all that I have on this particular thing. Well, now I am going to show you how to use glyphs in Adobe Illustrator. I already have Adobe Illustrator open, and I'm going to go to File, New. Let's just make it a print 8.5 by 11. Select everything that's over here in this box and select Create. First thing I'm going to do is go over and get the Type tool, Tools panel. And I'm going to come over here and select a box. Now let's go up here. Let's go ahead and select the font that we want to use. And I'm going to select Samantha, bold. And the reason I'm going to select this is I got this from the Adobe fonts. And I believe it is a pretty good one. It has several glyphs in it. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to go ahead and make it so you can see it. I'm going to make it about 48. And then I'm going to type something. Let's do San Antonio web spinners. Okay, and let's go ahead and center it. So you can see that it has taken my Samantha italic bold and used that as the design. So the next thing you want to do is get the Glyphs panel. So I can go up to Type, Glyphs, and select it there, or I can go to Window, Type, Glyphs here. Let's click on Glyphs, and up comes our panel. Now you notice over here it's a little bit different than Photoshop. The Glyphs panel has ornaments, our alternates for current selection, our entire font. Let's start out with alternates for current selection. The reason it came up with ornaments is because that's what I used last. If you come down here, you can see that this is a zoom out and this is a zoom in. So let's go ahead and select the S. And there we have all the alternate fonts. And we can select whatever we want. We can select, let's see, it looks like it's took this S. And you can see that it has by over here, it's highlighted. So let's just go ahead and select this one. A little bit different. Let's go over to Antonio. or A on Antonio. And you can see which one it's selected, but let's see what we've got here. Just for the heck of it, let's just select this one. Now over here, of course, you got a double click. If you use one of these, you just do one click. Okay. Probably this would have been better selecting it as an S. See if it's got a fancy S here that goes way out. Not. It does. So these kind of collide, don't they? I'm going to go back here. I'm going to just select this A. And then web. Let's see what we have for web. Okie doke. Let me see. Let's select a fancy one here. How about the S? See what we got for the S. Select that one. And that's about what we have there. Okay, let's just go down one. Let's go ahead and look at the entire font, see what we can find. Now these ligatures are like two letters together. So if you wanted to get that, if you wanted to go to fractions, you can see all the stuff it has here. Lots of stuff to choose from. And you note that we can use it for commercial or for personal use because it's an Adobe font. I went ahead and selected the entire font. Let's zoom in, make it a little bigger. Yeah, you notice it starts with the alphabet with A's. And if we happen to see one on the way, we could select it. These fancy fonts are really good to use in like invitations and stuff like that. Something you want to be really fancy with. Okay, let's see. As you look at this, this is some really fancy stuff that you can add to your fonts. Double clicking on all of these. Come to the end and see what we've got. Well, look at this. Isn't this cute? Announcing. Before. Look, featuring. You've got all kinds of neat words here. All right. We got some stuff that we can use in between. And even we get even more fancier down here. And even fancy numbers. This is about all I'm going to show you on this because everything else is about the same and how you use it. One of these days, I'm going to work up a invitation or something like that using glyphs and get more intimate with them and see what's going on. All right. Thank you. And that's it. You want me to stop sharing? You want to take over? Okay.
That's good, Jay. I have a question though. It's like you had more creative ability in Illustrator. You can install the same glyphs and fonts in both the Illustrator or Photoshop, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So you just found more, I guess, in Illustrator. But okay.
Well, when you install the font, it goes into all the products, even Microsoft
Yeah,
Word.
okay.
So anything that you have fonts on, it's going to install it.
Okay.
Now, I'm not sure about the Adobe. I'm not sure. I did not double check to see if Adobe went into Word. It might not, but the free ones that I got would go into Word also.
Okay, cool.
I have a question. Do you know if screen readers would be able to interpret ligatures?
I don't know why not.
So like it would recognize the two letters and read it correctly? Is
You
that
know,
a different character?
since they're so close together, you mean?
Well, because it's one character instead of two.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not something that I know, but I could find out probably.
Okay, cool. I can look it up. I just thought maybe you know.
Yeah, no, I don't.
All right, cool. That was a good presentation.
Oh, thank you.
That was great, Gabe.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't use some of those designs in some of the fonts, the glyphs, as patterns like I showed in that presentation I did. I don't see why you couldn't incorporate some of those.
Hmm. Right.
You know, you wouldn't have to draw them because this could save you the time of having to try to create some of those designs or go out and search for them.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
can see a lot of possibilities in using some of them.
Yeah, I found a lot more too. I mean, I didn't show them all because it's kind of impossible, but
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some neat things out there, and free. A lot of it free.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Gay mentioned if you don't have the entire cloud, if you just have Photoshop, you can just get it for $30 a month, I think, if that's all you're going to use. Or, they're offering subscriptions to just one or, more of the cloud. So, you might want to check that out. Any other questions? All right.
I have a question. Would you recommend using a font manager, like first to keep your separate projects like organized?
Font manager, like as in,
Like Font Explorer or something like that? I guess
I don't know. You,
Okay.
you notice when I brought it, well, I have in my document, I have another way of getting the fonts, and that way it brings up all the fonts. And you
Yeah.
see them all in the file, and you just drag it to that file. And
Okay.
yeah, so, they're all in one place. I don't know if there's a way to manage them, but there probably is.
Okay, thanks.
I think years ago, I remember seeing font managers used to be a big deal that people would use, but I haven't explored any of them in the past few years. So there might be something out there that would work. Because I don't, you wouldn't be able to move them around or set up folders in your font folder because then the programs wouldn't be able to find them. So I really don't know. There should be some way. Yeah.
Yeah, because all of your every time you go to a font, it's going to where your fonts are stored, under in the Windows menu, wherever that is, in the directory, Windows directory, where all the fonts are.
Now, if you have the cloud, you have your creative libraries, and you could set up folders in there just for fonts. I've got libraries set up just for, brushes or patterns or just whatever. So you could use your creative libraries in your in Adobe on the cloud. And then they're accessible no matter what app you're using, whether it's Dreamweaver or Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Premiere Pro, no matter, they all access that library. So you could have them separated into folders and then just go, at least you could have some way of segregating them and knowing what you want to use. It's a thought you might want to check into.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, anything else? Okay, if you'll stop sharing and I will go back to the agenda and we'll finish up. There we go. Okay. These are ways to contact the the web spinners, our Facebook page, Twitter, YouTube. Gay keeps up with all our social media and keeps those up to date. And if you go to our YouTube channel, be sure and subscribe to it. We'd like to get our own URL that identifies us as San Antonio Web Spinners. So if you want to do that, that would be great. And our email address, the emails go to me. So if you send it, then if I reply to you, you'll have my personal email. I don't put it on the website just because of all the junk mail that I get. So I don't do that. Let's see. Do you have any questions about our web spinners? I think it's most of it is explained on the website, and I try to always schedule our meetings out 2-3 months ahead, so you'll always know what is coming up, help you kind of plan. Okay, Glenn, I'll let you take over for the AMUG and tell everybody about it.
Okay, thank you very much. The AMUG will be meeting next Thursday at 6:30, which is our normal time, and it is a Zoom meeting. We're still doing the Zoom thing. This month, I'm on the schedule to do some presentation related to website development. And what I'm going to be doing this month is a continuation of the HTML animation capabilities. And we're going to see what maybe a practical application of that might look like. And it's something that I recently was working on, and it seemed to work out pretty good. Most of what we looked at before related to HTML animation was just watching a little red box move around the screen, and that's kind of boring. So we're going to see what it might look like if you actually tried to do something with it. Then, of course, the week after that is our animation and graphics subgroup, chaired by Anna Dorcott. And I believe she's been doing some work on glyphs as well, but she's also focusing a lot on the various brushes and sharing those back and forth between Photoshop and Illustrator. And I believe we're going to hear a little more about that. The week after is our audio-visual subgroup, and I'm not going to steal their thunder because both Joe and Paul are here tonight. They are our co-subgroup leaders for that group. So if that's okay, and anyone who wants to find out about our AMUG group, or at least be aware of when the meetings are and the time and the links and all that other stuff. If you want to let Kay know, she'll shoot me your email address and I will add you to our notification list. That's it, Kay.
Okay, Joe and Paul.
I guess I'll go ahead and start. I guess, as you know from last time, I'm going to be out of pocket for a while. My surgery is next Thursday, and I want to thank everybody for the chat messages from last time. And I think it's going to be pretty much Joe's show for April. I should be back in action again by May. So I'm going to let Joe have it. So thank you.
Hey. Not going to let Joe have it.
It's all your, it's going to be your show for April, probably.
Yeah, I got it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue with part 3 of Introduction to Lightroom. And we're going to go into the Develop module where you actually make some changes in your image before you possibly take it back to Photoshop for some fine tuning. But we've done the library, we've done importing, and now we're going to move over and see what you do once you have your pictures in Lightroom. So that's basically what our 4th Thursday meeting is going to be.